Hello, my name is Zachary Reisinger, and today I'm going to be giving you a speech about the importance of video games for our brains. A study of nearly 2,000 children found that those who reported playing video games for more than 3 hours per day performed better on cognitive skill tests involving impulse control, working on memory, compared to children who had never played video games. Video games may be associated with better cognitive performance in children. Um, a study showed in October of 2022. Have you ever been judged for playing video games, called things like lazy or unproductive? Sadly, this is an experience that many people have for playing video games, but today I'm hoping to change that mindset and redirect it a little bit. Video games shouldn't be received as such a hateful thing. A lot of parents or educators see them as a negative thing, but really they can be a tool for building cognitive function, problem solving, and even collaborating between children. Old teaching methods are becoming more outdated. They're less effective, especially for the new generation who are a little bit more focused on electronics, things like that. I think a great way to do that, turn that around, would be introduce video games into our school systems, adopt them as a tool, as a cognitive building, rather than just pushing them aside and making them this negative thing. A lot of innovations have came around, educators can use tools now that are games that are oriented towards specific kids or specific types of learning that'll keep track with where they're at rather than keeping pace with the whole class. A lot of students struggle with maintaining attention and motivation and even applying the skills they learn in the real world. The National Library of Medicine shows that children that have attention disorders typically score a lot lower and get a lot less achievements in classes and whatnot. And these achievements, for instance, increases in attention difficulties between ages 6 and 11 predicted subsequent declines in reading and math achievements between ages 11 and 17 in community-based cohorts of nearly 600 youth. That's a direct quote from the National Library of Medicine. It was an article published about whether or not kids would be able to score high if they were having attention problems inside of class. And it pretty much came out that if you were having attention problems in class because you weren't able to focus, or maybe the material was just a little bit too hard for you, they would go in and they were trying to figure out ways that they can make it a little bit easier for the kids. Another study done by them showed that attention problems were far more likely to lower reading achievements, especially. It's a lot harder for kids that are having a hard time paying attention or maintaining attention to continue to read, but video games have actually been proven to help build that skill and build that attention and keep you focused for longer, so that way you can focus on things like that. The best solution to this would be to introduce new methods of keeping kids engaged, in my opinion, teaching fundamental skills through video games. McKinsey and company reported that many school systems around the world, students performed most globally were stagnating before and after COVID. And we haven't really been introducing video games as a method of helping kids learn these fundamental skills that really do help them along the path, when they're 11 to 17. When they build those fundamental skills early in life, they're able to do a lot more than studying, picking up, reading, understanding the material, not just reading it. You take a deeper meaning from it, you take more interest in it. They also did another study, and the company found that failures continue to decline as the academic scale. We just continue to ignore video games as an option. So failure, we've just seen a consistent decline in the past few years in the academic scale around the world, not just in America. I think there's a few things that we can discuss to solve this problem. I think schools should start adopting video games as a tool in their arsenal for teachers rather than just a concern. Games have been proven to increase skills like problem solving, memory, strategic thinking, and even hand-eye coordination. Um, the National Library, again, they released another article on this topic. They found that the article was called Video Game Skills Across Diverse Games, Cognitive Function in Early Adulthood. And essentially, they just wanted to find out, like, what different genres of video games were going to give them the best results for different skills. So they found that RPGs were positively impactful on, like, verbal communication and even visual short-term memory. So, like, if you have to do a lot of things like remember what items you have or how to build something, or even like talking to people in the game, you have to do a lot of reading, things like that in RPGs. They also found that like action games improve like hand-eye coordination, so like your psychomotor speed. And they also found that like puzzles help with attention. It also helped reinforce like positive memory skills and problem solving, like quick problem solving. And this just proves that video games are like a diverse way and a positive way to improve these like different skills for children, rather than just like seeing them as this like negative or impactful thing. Sorry. Both educational and commercial games have been proven to increase engagement and deeper understanding. The study effectiveness of digital education and game design in STEM found that digital education games showed a large improvement in learning compared to conventional approaches, because again, it helped like slow down the learning, slow down the material to the level that the individual kids needed, and you could decrease the difficulty. They figured out what you were having trouble on, and they would focus on that until you understood it. So like games like that are really beneficial, and they found that they really help kids improve overall in just class in general. Commercial video games can be pretty beneficial too. It's found that like they really help kids figure out like deeper meaning behind things. They help kids like learn to read stories and understand them. And it's even improved in like, and it's been proven to improve engagement. So engagement's really important for understanding topics, and then also getting a deeper understanding for topics. And I think lastly, we should talk about like adopting video games as a learning tool. We will have to schools and their students. Like students will be more capable of executing skills if they do this. They're going to be able to collaborate creatively. They're going to come up with more ideas. They're going to do more stuff together. A study published in the National Library of Medicine again called Serious Game Design in Medical Students as a Learning Activity for Developing CF4s. They found that like actual nursing students that were still like looking into games and designing games now were seeing a positive impact in creativity and critical thinking skills, and they're becoming a lot more effective with it. And they did this study with 6th to 7th graders, and they saw the same thing happen. And they were like figuring out actual game design, and they were doing educational game design building, and they were again getting a lot better with creative thinking, getting a lot better with problem solving. And we saw like a major increase, especially in the kids. Like they were learning like to be original, flexibility with like different codes, and then they would learn to elaborate more on the topics they were talking about. This will make classrooms more dynamic, effective, and it supports students that aren't super good in like a classroom setting. It gives them a chance to like focus on what they need, what they're good at, and it helps them build like 21st century skills. Showed in like another review, it was video games at metacognition in the classroom for the development of 21st century skills showed an increase in metacognitive skill planning, monitoring, and evaluating, showing that even if some students might not be able to thrive in a video game context, a classroom could really help them like benefit. A video game based environment could really help them benefit because it's not so strategic. It's not so strict. It's not so, there's 26 kids here, 18 of them are getting it, and these 6 kids aren't. But in a game environment, if you're not those 6 kids that aren't getting it can stay back and continue to learn it until they're ready for the next phase. In summary, we talked about different video games today, like how they help kids build cognition, build skills like motor skills. They help them build thinking skills, critical thinking skills. They help them build like problem solving skills. Also to work together, like in a collaboration. Video games shouldn't be seen as such an unproductive and bad thing. We should discuss using them in classrooms as a cognitive building tool and see the physical and cognitive benefits. Proving video games should be used often is not a bad thing. They should be seen as a better thing. From this point on, I hope people are able to see video games in a better light and understand that these are beneficial tools and not just like, oh, it's for fun or entertainment. In closing, I'd just like to say that the future of your kids could be impacted by video games, and we should all strive for a better educational system that looks for all the tools that it can use and doesn't just hate on certain ones or push ones aside because they come across initially as unmotivating.